What's up? First time you seen me in my office. First time I've been on this PC here. So we don't have a 4K camera hooked up here yet. So relax. The HD one still works, it seems like. So I'm here to give you an update to what's going on right now. So hit the like button coming through the door. It's a lot in development right now that just hit the fan, and a lot of people are just like, what? What is going on here? So the fight with Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr. Let's talk about that right now. That fight is canceled. The bout is still going on as Errol Spence Jr. Oh my gosh, what is happening here? This isn't making any sense. Hold up. Well, people don't realize something that needs to be talked about, and it's happening right now. Errol Spence supposedly had an eye injury, and due to this eye injury, he's not able to compete. I think it's more than that, and I'm going to tell you why and what's been going on, so everybody out there can get caught up into the developments of what's been transpiring in the past couple of weeks. Well, yeah, past couple of weeks through this training camp. It's more like this. Errol Spence hasn't been having what you would call the best camp. Now you see these pullouts when people need more time to get themselves ready. This is gonna hurt Errol so much you guys don't even know. I'm not saying his eye injury isn't legit. I'm just saying that all of the words in camp that I've been hearing, he has not been having a good camp. I've been hearing that things have been sporadic. There have been a lot of arguments. There have been a lot of people who are not happy with how the performances have been going, and the sparring partners have been having their way with Errol. That's not good when you're supposed to be the face of the sport. Now, sparring is one thing, right? We all know that. Spar with somebody, cool. But to actually, be in a situation where you're getting ready for a fight, there's certain things that people work on where other people who don't know anything about boxing might assume, maybe this is the way it's supposed to go. I don't know. Then you turn around and you see that things are going in a direction that you never dreamed it was going to go. And for Errol, it's hard to say. I don't want to put that on him, but let's just say it's hard to accept something like that right now, especially from Errol. Right now, we have a tornado coming through. So that's what we're faced with right now here. And the tornado has also blown, that tornado has also blown through Errol Spence, and now Errol's in a bad position because Errol's in a spot where now he has to basically follow this trope in which he has to find a way to get back, because this is a big blow. This is a big mega fight for him, and for him not to fight it, and now Ugas is gonna take that fight, the fight that Errol was supposed to fight. Ugas gets the shot. That's gonna be a tough fight for Manny because he was all game plan to fight Errol. Now you got to try to figure out to fight Ugas, who's an entirely different fight, and he doesn't have the experience of Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao could probably hurt him with this, but he's a big dude. Like, he's a big guy who's active. So for Manny, it's a much dangerous fight. Ugas is taking the place of Errol Spence, and because of that, it's everything is up in the air for real. It is all up in the air. The way I felt about it was different because I was concerned more about the health. I was like, man, I hope Errol, this is not, something that's from the car accident. But to come from something like that car accident to now, that's severe, man. And to have something like that, right, happen to somebody like that and they survive it, and then to come back to a physical sport like boxing, I don't know if that's going to take a toll on him. Had Pacquiao won, that's exactly what people would say. He ain't been the same since that accident, man. So that's where it's been so far, as far as the people. Well, here's the thing. Many people. Hello?
Hey, is it super windy for you right now?
Yeah, the tornado's coming through right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit! The light just went off.
Yeah, it's the tornado. It's coming through.
Holy shit! Mom, the light just exploded out there. Like it just, the light. That's what it was. I guess the microwave exploded because they saw the light and the light just sparked.
Yeah, so right now the tornado is going through. So. Well, yeah, I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing.
Are you in your basement?
No, I'm upstairs in the office.
Oh wow, what a great place to be during a tornado.
Yep, I'm live right now, so I gotta get back to the live.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, so oh, the sound is low? I'm sorry. Yeah, this is my backup camera, just for this. I didn't know this screen came without a camera. I got one of them curved screens that come out like this. It's nice. It looks way nice, but it didn't come with a camera. And I was like, oh. Let me see. How can I turn the mic up? I'm just gonna talk louder then. Then maybe if I talk louder, you can hear me. Can you hear me now? All right. He said, no, they just deaf. All right. So, in case you guys just got here, Errol Spence sustained some type of eye injury and he's out of the fight. But I'm here to tell you something else entirely. Errol Spence Jr. has been looking like an average, normal fighter in sparring. Guys were beating him, sparring partners was getting everything they wanted to get out of him, and it was not looking good. Keith Thurman actually made a video and they made him take it down. PBC made him take it down. Now, I'm hearing that the fight is still taking place and that they're going to replace the fighter with Ugas. Somebody else just texted me about it. The problem is, I'm not doubting he had an eye injury. I'm just saying I don't know how good he was going to be in this fight and how good he was going to look. And I think PBC kind of pulled the plug because they know if Errol loses to Manny Pacquiao, trying to sell him will be very difficult. If you can't beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, you're in trouble. A guy who's spending time in political office more than in the gym running laps, you're in trouble. Somebody said they're trying to make Mayweather Pacquiao too. Here's the thing. Mayweather, at this point, I don't think Floyd can fight another professional fight for 12 rounds. You know, I think he's at the point now where he could just do exhibitions. I mean, physically, his body has taken a lot of abuse, and because of it, I mean, a 98% Floyd Mayweather can still beat 100% of the people, but like Manny Pacquiao's style hasn't changed. But for what it takes, the energy level, the concentration, and the physical to be physically ready for that. I know people. The more I try to talk to people about boxing, the less they know. Then the more you would think they know, they don't know. This dude argued with me. I never forget. 2 years ago, this dude had an argument with me about the movie Rocky and tried to tell me Rocky won the first one. No, he said the first one was a draw. I said, no, the first fight wasn't a draw. No, that's why they fought again. It was a draw. I said, no, Creed won. Creed won, and I don't know how it was like a split decision. It shouldn't have been. I mean, whoever gave the first fight to Rocky needed to be in jail. It wasn't, see, the movie Rocky wasn't about him winning the title. What he won was his self-respect. People don't remember that. And people don't remember that that was a movie. They don't remember what it was about. But to show you how big the impact was, you actually thought Rocky won. And I was like, he didn't win. No. It's not about, you don't need to know boxing to know that Creed won the first fight. No, what I'm saying is that people attention to detail, the focus. They miss the details and focus on the story. The story became so big of the event of the movie Rocky that that person actually thought Rocky won. Or the fight was a draw. Sorry. That the fight was a draw, which was a victory for Rocky. So he missed the whole thing. He was on point, but except that he had that scorecard all wrong. So I had to argue with him, wasted my time. And at the end of it, he still believed the fight was a draw. I'm like, dude, we finished showing you on YouTube. Now watch they announce the score and the win. Then he was, man, they redid that because I seen the original. I'm like, dude, they did not remaster the decision. It was blowing my mind. So, anyhow, like I say, so when it comes to boxing, people miss certain details. So people will believe something if you write about it or talk about it. So that's why people do these things. So they know if Errol Spence is being written about in a negative way of him getting beat up in sparring, or he's not looking good in camp. These things happen. Or they're not in shape. They're not ready for the fight. Believe me, PBC, them trainers, they know if Errol was not ready for that fight. But this hurts Errol big time in the boxing world. This hurts him big. Uh, you talking about Errol? Errol has a lot to think about, as far as his decision on what he want to do with, like, let's say, his career, why he still have one. Because everyone's kind of like watching his career and it's like, dude, we were giving you passes for this, we were giving you passes for that, and now you're not doing what you're supposed to do or what you said you was going to do. You said this is what you wanted to do, like this was your plan. You weren't fighting the welterweights in the division. You should have been fought Bud Crawford, but you keep coming up with excuses to fight Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia, two small lightweights. You've been fighting small lightweight after small lightweight after small lightweight. Pretty soon, that's gonna run out, and you're gonna be in a box, and you're gonna have to make a decision, champ. You're gonna have to fight somebody. Now, if he's really injured, which he probably is to get out of a big pay-per-view fight like that, but normally it don't take much. You can get any Dr. Feel Good to come in there and say, hey, Errol's eyes, he's having problems seeing out his eye. You got thumbed in the eye or something that's too close to the fight. That happens. But this is going to hurt, especially if Ugas win. If Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao and you set that fight out and you beat Ugas, will you get the same respect? My thing is Errol Spence, right? If Errol Spence didn't fight, Manny Pacquiao could have said, let's take Terrence Crawford. I'm quite sure Bud could have stepped right on in. Errol has suffered a quote unquote eye injury. So he's going to have to pull out of the fight. No, Bud don't have to get anybody's credit. Bud beats people. And he beat them the way he's supposed to. Now they saying his retina got detached. And that very well could have happened. You know, because I doubt Errol would have pulled out of the fight. PBC was probably very worried anyhow because he hasn't been looking good in spar. People are telling me it was not looking good for Errol. He was not having good camps. And these are people that's actually around the situation. He wasn't looking like the person that's getting ready for fight week as it gets closer. Manny Pacquiao was actually looking great in camp. For a guy his age, he was looking sharp. And people were concerned. The Danny Garcia fight was his first fight back, which, okay, take that as a first fight back. That was cool, but they was making the Danny Garcia fight right after the Sean Porter fight. They was already rolling into that to skip Bud. So if you already finna roll into that fight and you skipping Bud Crawford, you brought him in the ring to announce that fight. That set up the whole thing with you and Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, like him to death, love Danny. Danny Garcia is not a welterweight. He's a small 140. He can only beat small 140s. He can't beat these 154 guys who are sweating down to 147. They hit different. It is 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 different. You can't dominate and look bad. He lost the last 4 rounds of that fight and made it a close fight with Danny Garcia. The Ugas fight makes it a very different fight for Manny. Ugas is a whole different fight from Errol Spence. And the way Manny finna jump in there and fight Ugas, who the Bud beat that was legit? What do you mean? He beat the top competition in his division. What is you talking about? He unified the 140-pound division. What is you talking about? He beat the guy didn't want to fight. They kept paying step aside money. He fought him to unify the division. He came to welterweight. He beat he beat Jeff Horn. He won the belt. His first fight at welterweight. He didn't have a warm-up. And you know what Bud is doing? He's dropping these guys. He's getting them out of there. Amir Khan got him out of there. He fought his last fight against Kell Brook, got him out of there. And this was Kell Brook, fully trained. No weight drain, nothing. He got caught. But PBC don't want to make that fight. They want to wait till they can control and get all the money because they don't want to split money with Top Rank. All because of this nonsense in politics, you're not getting your fights. Don't forget to hit the like button, good people. He was the first guy to beat Benavidez and knock him out. Tell me, could Errol Spence beat Mean Machine? A puncher, a power puncher in the division that nobody want to face. So you're going to give credit to Errol Spence, who's fought no one at welterweight. See, this is what I'm talking about. You got a guy who's fighting real welterweights and beating them, and because you don't know him, because they ain't no blown up cream puff like the PBC was giving you, Errol Spence and Sean Porter is nothing but blown up cream puff. The guy can't box to save his life. He's a brawler. But he was the first big welterweight Errol didn't face, who was tailor-made for him, and he struggled. And Bud is the man. Come get the belt. The Spence before the accident was going to get waxed by Bud Crawford. Thank you, Pablo. Sean Porter fight like he's swimming. He be crack. He come in there like it's 3rd and 2, and they handed him the ball. Ding! fight who landed more headbutts than punches. When he fought Andre Berto, he never landed a punch and they called it a knockout. He hit him with like 2 headbutts. Wham, wham! Ah, the dude was cut and fell down. I'm like, damn. I mean, it's terrible to watch sometimes. But he actually kind of cleaned himself up a little bit. So in the Errol fight, he wasn't as wild. He was actually fighting a conservative fight. But Ugas whooped Sean Porter. Why? Because Sean Porter can't beat guys his size. Him and Errol have the same problem. This is why Errol Spence, when he started his career, he started off at 154 pounds. Okay, Errol Spence Jr. was at 154, and them dudes was ringing his bell. He was knocked out before he even got back to the. He lucky the bell rung when he got rocked, because his bell got rung right at the bell. Boom, ding! You can ring my bell. It was like, oh no, we gonna have to drop him to 47. Dude, put him on a diet or something. You got to go down to 47. Fight at welterweight. You ain't ready for these big boys up here. That boy, ooh, you can ring my bell, ring my. And now, since he was supposed to fight Ugas, if he wasn't fighting Errol, he was fighting Manny Pacquiao. And I'm like, well, cool, that matters. You know, that's a big money fight. You stole that fight, that's cool. But if you didn't fight him, you supposed to fight Ugas. Because Ugas really the guy you were supposed to fight, but PBC screwed him over. He knocked Sean Porter down. They even called it a slip. They didn't even count his knockdown. That's how bad it was for Sean Porter that night. Ugas whooped that boy from the beginning to the end. And that's going to be a rough fight for Manny Pacquiao. That's a big guy who's active with a jab and everything. So Manny's going to have to be real careful with how he fights Ugas. That's a whole new strategy, whole new fight. To tell you the truth, I really don't know. Like, I really don't know these new guys like that. Like, I don't know what their goal is. Like, what is y'all trying to accomplish? Because everybody now, they fighting on social media. You seen Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia done had 40 fights all online. That's all he do, online fighting. Oh, let's fight. Yeah, me and you, let's set it up. According to him, he fought Manny Pacquiao. He had an exhibition set up. I got big news coming. We were like, okay, they so busy talking. Then they got everybody talking back. And it's a big thing, and the people get excited about it, and then it never happens. So it's like, it's totally ruined boxing. This whole promoting online and all this stuff. Promote when the contract is signed. Create a little buzz if you want, but the people be more interested if the fight was signed, and then y'all start talking crazy. Because we know at the end, we're gonna see a fight. I just talked to Chris, and Gavin just called in the live. They doing great, man. I'll tell them you asked about them, Robert. No, I kind of missed AEW. I'm kind of like staying in the crib too while this this tornado doing this thing. Boxing needed an Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight because everybody in boxing who know boxing is on Terrence Crawford's side. The fans, they're on Errol Spence side. So you when the fight happened, people gonna be like, man, this fight should have happened years ago. That's how it's gonna be. But the same result was gonna be there. Bud's gonna stop him. Jay Smith, that's funny. Jay Smith said I should start a boxing channel. We have a boxing website called boxingsocialist.com. This channel started off as a boxing channel for years. Well, Manny needs to make money. Manny needs to continuously make money. It's not for him because Manny could just tour and people would pay to come see Manny. He needs to make the type of money that can keep up with the lifestyle that him and his wife and children are accustomed to. She likes the Birkin bags and spending hundreds of $1,000s a week. Damn near. She's that fashion and all this, and she's even gotten political office over there. Political office is cool as far as power go, but that's a good way to get the people to turn against you is when you go into politics. They be rooting for you till you get into office and they feel like you ain't doing enough for them. Oh, Ray, we already know that's gonna happen. It was gonna happen no matter what. As soon as he beat Errol, that's all the people were going to say. We knew that. That's why I said now, because of that accident, the fight is ruined. But I knew that he was gonna beat him regardless. One, Errol drinks a lot. He used to. He used to get toe up. And by you getting toe up and drinking and think just because you train, that's you don't understand the effects that's gonna have on your body. It's going to help tear your body down, metabolism and everything else. Nobody worry about Choke. If Choke got to take that route, I feel bad for him if he did do that. I don't think he's talking about me though. If he is, sorry for him, man. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Keep the lights on. Uh, Bud Crawford and Canelo fight in the future. I don't. I don't see that happening. To be honest, I really don't. I don't really see that happening. And I mean, right now, I don't see Canelo going back to middleweight at all because really, there's no money at middleweight. He can get all the money right now fighting at 168. Bud Chin is questionable. Wow. How is it questionable when he's dropping everybody he's fighting? He's fighting bigger guys and power punchers, and you're questioning his chin? When Errol is fighting pillow punchers? I don't know how he's gonna do it when the fight's not happening. Now, will they try to revisit it in November? I don't know, because now it'll be in Manny Pacquiao's court, because Pacquiao's fighting in November if he beats Ugas. So the next fight for him, will it be Terrence Crawford? Who knows? But I know that that's a fight Manny Pacquiao is definitely afraid of, and that is a Terrence Crawford fight. Terrence Crawford is a bad matchup for Manny Pacquiao. It was 3 years ago, it was 5 years ago, and it is today. That's a whole different world. I would bet the house that Terrence Crawford beats Manny Pacquiao. And Terrence knows too. And Manny knows too. Manny ain't stupid. He know he can beat Errol Spence. He know he has a better chance of beating Errol than Bud. Because I fight for the Philippines and for the people. I like to give a good fight and entertain for the people. And Errol Spence, he come to fight. He defensive, and forget defense. He comes in. He's strong fighter. So we make a good fight. Style make fight. Man, he's way past his prime. So, of course, Terrence would whoop him. Terrence would have whooped him 5 years ago. Terrence would have whipped him anytime in Manny Pacquiao's career. Let's let that be known. Whenever you thought he was in his prime, Terrence Crawford would have dog walked him, because he's a boxer. Errol suffered some type of eye injury, and so he had to get out of the fight. And this is going to hurt his career. It's going to hurt a lot. And that's basically it right now. So don't forget, my Cash App is Carcino. That is my Cash App. The super chat button should work. Yes, Nas had one of the best rap albums of the year. It's a complete album. Where Cappy at? They probably got her put in a mental institution where they can keep her doped up. Well, anyway, fellas, I'm getting out of here. This has been great. But before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you a question in the chat. Who would have won this fight? Manny or Errol? Manny is in his 40s, right? All right, there's the poll. Could Manny have won this fight? Right now, 68% says yes, 36% saying no. The poll is in. 70% of the people here said Manny could have won the fight. Now it's at 71%. Hey, there's the super chat. He said, much love to the channel. Big fan. I read this article saying WBA having financial trouble. Now the main event is Pacquiao versus Ugas. Weird timing. Of course they're having financial troubles. These sanctioning bodies are not having fights that are big enough for them to make the revenue on. So you definitely gonna have financial problems. Errol was not looking good in camp. Nah, I wouldn't fight Hassan at all. I don't want him leaning on me at all. He'll be getting off on that. No way. I don't want the Campbell soup guy grabbing on me. 73% saying Manny could have won the fight. Man, I thought Errol was a favorite. Here's the thing. This is a PBC card. There was no way they were going to let Errol Spence lose. If Manny Pacquiao would have dropped him in every round, they'd have called it a draw. They wasn't going to let him win. So there was no way Manny could win this fight unless he knocked him out completely. But looking at this poll is crazy. Everybody had Manny winning. This is nuts. I didn't think this is happening. But anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. Oh, Frisco dumb dude. Hassan going to apologize before the bout even take place. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here, man. Deuces.